All right, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, rather. This is David Tatrudian from ADU1 and Retrofit 1, and I am conducting a live stream about the ADU and retrofitting process. So if you have any questions, I'd encourage you to put those questions in the question box down on the right, and I can address those questions that are either specific to your property or maybe specific to your circumstance, or maybe it's a property that you're looking to buy, and we can discuss it. All right, for those of you that don't know, an accessory dwelling unit is a separate habitable unit that can now, because of changes and relaxations in the law, be added to multifamily buildings. And this is really nice because you can add them in places that were previously uninhabitable, like garages, tuck under carports, parking lots, and things like that. So what I wanted to do, and unfortunately I couldn't get the streaming service set up to do it, was to talk about a couple of the examples of soft story retrofit and ADU that we're and accessory dwelling units that we're working on currently. So even though I don't have those examples for you here now, what I can do is sort of walk through them. One of the examples of ADU and soft story retrofit that we're working on now is in the city of Inglewood. And this particular project has, a tuck under area, and the tuck under area is the area that we've proposed to add the ADUs. Now, the tuck under area is about, it's on two sides of the building. One side of the building is right around 400 square feet, and on the other side of the building, it's right around 600 square feet. Now, the 600 square foot area, we were able to squeeze 2 bedrooms into that particular space, and the 2 bedrooms flank either side of a central sort of living area. So the proposed space is 3 carports. I'm sorry, 3 tuck under garage spaces where you previously had 3 cars parking, and we're taking a little bit away from a spot directly on the adjacent rather to the tuck under area. So you sort of walk into one of the existing parking spots, and that'll be the door area, and the 2 bedrooms will be flanking the living area on the right and the left. So that's one unit, and this property is large enough to add 2 units. So the one unit is going to be 600 square feet, and the other unit that's sort of right around the corner is a little bit smaller. It's 400 square feet, but we're able to get 1 bedroom out of that 400 square foot area. So with respect to the 400 square foot unit, you sort of walk into the unit, and then you're greeted with a kitchen on the right and the large living space in the middle. And then you walk through the unit, the living area rather, to get to the bedroom in the back. And then you sort of get into the bedroom, and you've got access to a bathroom in the bedroom, and that bathroom can also be accessed from the living area as well. So that's the 400 square foot unit. And what's really nice about this project is that by creating the accessory dwelling units, we're able to seismically retrofit this particular building as well at the same time. Although the city where this property is located, the city of Inglewood, does not have a mandatory seismic retrofit requirement for soft story buildings, it's nice to be able to retrofit the building, because it's kind of like you get inexpensive earthquake insurance, and if you ever want to refinance with a lender that requires these soft story retrofits, soft story buildings be retrofit, you sort of comply and can get financing a little bit easier. So that's the project in Inglewood, and there's another project that we're working on right now in the city of Hermosa Beach, and that project is a duplex, so a multifamily home, and we're designing a small, right around 250, 275 square foot studio ADU in the rear yard. If any of you live in Hermosa Beach or have been there, you know that the lot sizes are particularly small, especially the closer you get to the beach. So we were able to fit a small ADU back there, and the ADU has a living quarters, almost like a full-size kitchen with a range, a stove, a refrigerator, and it also has this really nice neat nook, sit down nook, eat in area where you can have your meals and stuff like that, and not worry about taking up a ton of space with a table or something like that. So it's really nice. A lot of built-ins, and that's the studio. So we've also got a separate bathroom that's obviously cordoned off from the rest of the living area, but the sort of kitchen and living areas are all combined, and the eating area is in there as well. But it makes a great use of space, and it's excellent for those properties that might not have a great amount of free space to deal with. There's another project that we're working on, also right down the street from Hermosa in I think it's Redondo Beach. It's either Redondo or it's Manhattan, somewhere on the border there. But this particular property has tuck under, and it also has room in the backyard. And what we're doing is we're taking the tuck under areas. I think there are maybe 6 spots, right about 50 feet wide, and they're 20 feet deep each. So there's about 1,000 square feet. And we're taking that and we're turning it into a 2-bedroom unit, very spacious. And we're also complying with the soft story retrofit at the same time. What's nice about this project is that there's not only are there tuck under areas to create the accessory dwelling units, but there's also free space in the back to create one detached unit. It's not terribly big, but it's enough to put a 500 square foot unit in the back. So that's going to be a great value add for the owner, because there's just it's a 6-unit building, and you're going all of a sudden from 6 units to 8 units, and the expense is going to be less than if you were to buy a duplex, for example. And that's like I said, in the South Bay. We have another project that I wanted to talk about, also in the South Bay, and this is a large multifamily building, 34 units. It's situated on a hill. And what's interesting about this project is that the soft story retrofit, because the building is so large, would have cost upwards of $200,000. But because we're able to take portions of that building and incorporate the retrofit into the soft story design, we're saving a ton of money for the owner, and we're also creating income opportunities for the owner. So rather than spending the $200,000 to retrofit the building, we can add, I think it's about 6 units that we're adding, and that'll generate a great amount of yearly income for the owner. So it's nice. But one of the particular challenges that we're facing on that project is that there's hardly any slope in order to tie the plumbing in the garage areas to the main line. So what we were able to do is we were able to source a product from a manufacturer called Saniflow. Some of you might be familiar with Saniflow. They're a French company. They've been around for a long time, and they develop these. Well, maybe I should back up a little bit. When you don't have enough slope to tie into the existing plumbing, you're going to have to install some sort of sewage ejector device. And typically, these sewage ejector devices are composed of a backflow valve, a pump itself that sort of takes in the waste, smashes it up, for lack of a better term, and fires it out through a pipe and into the building's main plumbing and main sewer system, rather main drain system, eventually to the building sewer and out to the street. And they're very costly to install, typically because you have to out a very large trench, do ancillary plumbing and stuff like that. But in order to avoid the cost and expense of installing a traditional sewage ejector pump, what we've been able to do with our partnership with Saniflow is we're working on getting these products developed that fit in to the wall and tied directly into the toilet. So instead of having a huge ejector pump that needs a constant service, that goes into a 3-foot ditch essentially in the ground of the unit, or in the floor of the unit, we can install these smaller Saniflow units that are about 16 inches wide, 8 inches deep, and maybe about 10 inches high, and they'll fit directly behind a toilet or underneath a sink, and they'll provide up to, I think it's 250, up to 25 feet high of sewage ejection, and up to, I think, 100 linear feet. So it's a really nice product, and we're able to install those into areas where you don't have sufficient slope, and that's likely what we're going to have to do here in the project that I'm talking about in San Pedro in the South Bay. So those are some of the projects that we're working on now, just a sampling. I thought I'd bring them up to discuss some of the issues that we've been seeing. What I'd also like to talk about is some of the different implementations of the ADU ordinance that we're seeing now in the different municipalities. So we've noticed that some cities are adopting different rules from others. And that was sort of to be expected, because what the state has done in the government code is establish a baseline. And essentially said that the cities cannot deviate from the baseline, but they can sort of adopt their own principles and their own regulations as far as the ADUs, and implement those. So we've seen a great variation from city to city, and all these little cities in the county of Los Angeles are starting to publish their own multifamily ADU guidelines. You've got the city of Long Beach doing it. You've got the city of Santa Clarita doing it. You've got the city of West Hollywood issuing their own guidelines. So it's really a patchwork right now. And the main difference that we're seeing between cities is the height of the proposed ADU. Now, the city of Los Angeles and the state has a minimum of 16 feet that the city must allow. So the city of Los Angeles has adopted that minimum, and you're only allowed to go up 16 feet. Other cities, like the city of Santa Monica, for example, is allowing you to go up 25 feet, which is great, because now you can do a 2-level unit, or you can do 2 units with one on the bottom level and one on the top level, or you can do a unit on the second level and parking on the bottom level. So it's been a real challenge dealing with all of the different rules that the cities, the individual cities have decided to adopt, and we're working through all of those. My colleague Helen has great expertise. She deals with the cities, each of these individual cities, pretty much every day. She's got great relationships with them. So if you have any projects that you're looking at, you can always run them by Helen or somebody else here in the office, and they'll prepare a land use analysis for you to let you know what you can and can't do. I noticed that Helen's presentation last week was a lot more widely attended, and there were several questions, but I don't see any questions coming in here with anyone that has any particular property that they want me to look at. So we're running up on our sort of 15-minute time limit here. So what I'd like to do is maybe end it here, unless anyone else has any questions. If you do, you can place them into the question box, and I'll answer them. And if not, that's fine. Okay, very good. So that'll conclude our session for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Visit our website, apartmentadu.com. You can also call us here at the office, 866-NEW-ADU1. All right, again, this was David Tashrudian. Thank you all for your time, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.